Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to see how to set up the Jenkins Dynamic Agents in Docker. So before setting up the Dynamic Agents, let us understand what is dynamic here. So generally, there are two types of agents, permanent agents, dynamic agents. In case of permanent agents, the agents will run permanently, means even though the jobs are not executed in those agents, still they will be running. In case of dynamic agents, the agents will be created dynamically on demand. Once the job is finished in the dynamic agent, the agent will be terminated automatically. So these agents will be created on demand and they will finish their job, and once the job is finished, then they will be terminated. This way the dynamic agents will increase the efficiency of the machines where they will be started and terminated. And if we create the dynamic agents in containers, then it will take the advantages of containers. That means scaling, easy portability, and so on. Now let us understand how we can create the dynamic agents in the containers. Here in the architecture, we have the Jenkins Master or controller, and this is the host machine where we create the agent containers. So to create the containers dynamically, in this host, the Docker needs to be installed, and in the Docker daemon, we need to enable a TCP port so that the master can contact this Docker daemon via TCP port. Then we'll create a cloud in Jenkins Master. When we assign any job to run on the cloud, so then Jenkins Master will reach this Docker daemon on the agent host. Then it will create a container inside that host, and this container will run that job once the job is finished, and then the agent container will be terminated. When this agent container is created, they need to satisfy two functionalities. The non-Docker builds should be executed. The Docker builds also should be executed successfully within that container. So how these Docker builds can be executed in this container? That will be done with the help of the container with Docker.dint image. First of all, we need to set up this Docker.dint container, and then when this agent container is created dynamically, it should act as a client to this Docker.dint container. Then it can run Docker commands inside this container. So now let us see all these things in the demo. Let us start. This is a Jenkins agent machine. Here I have already installed Docker. We can verify the status of Docker. Here we can see it is up and running. Here we need to enable a TCP port so that this Docker daemon can be reached by Jenkins Master. For that we need to change the systemd service corresponding to Docker. So for this we need to change this exec start variable, and here we need to add one more option for TCP socket. So for this example I am giving port 2800. We can give the port based on the organizational security requirements. I have given 2800 for this port. So let us save this configuration and restart Docker. The changes are saved. Let us reload the daemon. So now let us restart the service. The Docker service is restarted. Let us verify the status again. Here we can see that the API is listening on port 2800. We can verify this connectivity from Jenkins Master as well. This is the host where Jenkins Master is running. To connect to the Docker daemon of agent host, we need to set the Docker host variable. So let us point this to the IP address and port combination of Docker daemon in agent host. Now when we execute Docker commands here, those commands will be executed inside the Docker daemon of agent host. These are all the Docker images which are present in our agent host. We can verify the same inside agent host as well. So these are the same images what we have seen here. So that means the connectivity can be established from Jenkins Master to the Docker daemon present in agent host machine. We have established the connectivity from Jenkins Master to the agent host Docker daemon. Now let us create a cloud in the Jenkins Master so that the jobs can be assigned to run in that cloud. Before creating the Docker cloud, we need to install Docker plugin. For dynamic agents, we need a Docker plugin. So let us install the plugin. For this, let us click on Manage Jenkins. Now click on Plugins. Now we need to check available plugins. Here let us type Docker. So we need to select this Docker plugin and install. The Docker plugin and the corresponding dependencies are installed. So here we can click on Restart Jenkins and installation is complete and no jobs are running. So now it is restarting Jenkins. So Jenkins is restarted. We can verify installed plugins. Under this, let us search for Docker plugin which we installed now. Here we can see that the Docker plugin is installed in our instance. Now let us create the Docker cloud in our Jenkins instance. For that, let us click on Manage Jenkins. Here click on Clouds. Click on New Cloud. Here we need to provide the name. We need to select the type as Docker. Click on Create. So once we create, here it is providing two options. One is Cloud Details and Agent Templates. In the Docker Cloud Details, we need to enter the host URI. That means the host and port combination of Jenkins agent host with TCP protocol. So let us provide that. This is the IP address of agent host, and this is the TCP port on which the Docker daemon is listening in agent host. We don't have any server credentials, so let us ignore this, and we can enable this cloud. So these are sufficient as of now. Then we need to fill the template of Docker agent. So let us click on add Docker template. We need to provide the label of the Docker agent which will be created, and let us enable this. So we need to provide the name of this agent. Here we need to enter the Docker image name with which the agent container will be created. Java should be installed in that image. So we can take an example image. So this is one of the images provided by Docker Hub. We can use this as an example. In this Docker image, Java is already installed. So let us use this image as an example. We can keep other options as default. In the connect method, there are three methods here: attach Docker container, connect with JNLP, connect with SSH. Let us use the default method, attach Docker container. Here it is mentioned the Docker image must have Java installed. So this image already have Java installed, so we are choosing as an example. Here the pull strategy means it will pull the images every time from Docker Hub, which is a default registry. So let us save this configuration as of now. Now we have created a new cloud for Docker agents. Now let us create a new job in Jenkins, and we'll verify when we trigger that job whether a new agent container is created in the agent host and it will run the command successfully or not. So let us create a new item here. I'm selecting freestyle project. Click on build steps. Here add some build steps in execute shell. So here I will give sleep 60. That means when we execute this job, when the container is created, it should be there for at least 60 seconds. Now let us assign this job to the cloud. You can click on this restrict where this project can be run. Here we need to provide the label expression. This is the label we have assigned to the Docker agent template in the cloud. So let us save this configuration. Before executing this job, let us see if any containers are running inside the agent host. Here we can see there is no container running. So let us try to execute the job. So now we can see a new container is created, and we can see here a new container is created with image Jenkins agent, and we can see here the job is failed. Let us verify the output. I have given the wrong command. Let me change the command. Let us run it again. Now initially it is in pending state, and after that it has created one container. We can verify again. So here we can see a new container is created with different ID, and we can see the job is running inside that container. So it is waiting for 60 seconds. That means our container will be there for 60 seconds. Here the job is finished success. After 1 minute, if we check again, there is no container running inside this agent host machine. That means when we execute jobs, the jobs will create the agent Docker containers dynamically, and the containers will exist until the completion of jobs. Once the jobs are completed, then these containers will be terminated. Now we have seen how to perform non-Docker builds in the Jenkins job using the agent container. Now let us see how we can perform the Docker builds in the Jenkins job. So I am changing the configuration of this job. I am adding a build to perform Docker build here. Instead of sleep 60, we will perform the same command in a container. Here in this command, we will create a container out of Ubuntu, and within that container, we will run sleep 60 command so that the container will wait for 60 seconds. Let us save this configuration and let us trigger the build. A new agent is created, and let us see the output of this job. Here the job is failed. While executing this Docker command, it is saying Docker not found. That means it is not able to execute Docker commands within the Dynamic Agent container. This is because the image Jenkins/agent does not have Docker CLI by default. That is why it is saying Docker not found while executing the Docker command. So to overcome this, we need to perform two things. We need to create a custom image to include Docker CLI. Also, to create the containers in the container, this Jenkins agent container should take the help of a container with Docker dint image. So for this, we need to create a Docker dint container. Then we need to prepare a custom Docker image for the agent container, which includes Docker CLI installed. Then we need to update the agent template to include the latest custom image, and also the configuration in the agent needs to include the client certificates corresponding to Docker dint container. Let us see how we can perform these. We have already seen how to create a Docker container when we have set up the Jenkins Master in a Docker container. Same thing we'll do now. So for that, let us copy this command. So this command will create a container with name Jenkins Docker Din, and we are running the command in a detached mode. So this will have the privilege access, and this is the network to which this container will be connected. So here I'm giving network as agent network 2, and this is the network alias for this container. When the container is created, it will generate the certificates under certs directory, and also corresponding client certificates will be stored under certs client directory. So this is the Docker volume corresponding to the client certificates which will be generated, and this is the volume corresponding to Jenkins data. This is not required for agents, so I'm deleting this. So here it is publishing on port 2376 so that the clients can access this Docker container on this port. It is using storage driver overlay 2. This is the image using which the container will be created. Before running this command, we need to have this network in agent host machine. So let me create this network. The Docker network is created. Let us verify the networks. Here we can see a new agent network is created. Now let us create this Docker container, and we are attaching to that agent network 2. So the container is created. So here we can see that a new Docker container is created for Docker Din, and 2376 is published for this container. So now we need to prepare a custom image for creating this agent container. I am just copying this Docker file. Same Docker file we have used when creating a custom image for Jenkins Master. So same file I am copying from this page. So here we need to change the base image to Jenkins Agent. These commands will be same to install Docker CA client inside that image. So these plugins are not required because those are specific to Jenkins Master. So let us use this Docker file and we'll prepare a custom image. Let us save this file and let us build the custom image. The Docker file is saved. Let us build the custom image now. A new image is prepared with this name and tag. Now let us go back to the Jenkins agent template in the cloud configuration, and we'll update with these details. Click on Manage Jenkins, click on Clouds, and click on the cloud. Let us click on Configuration. Here in the agent templates, here we need to update the Docker image first. For this demo, we'll use the same image which is present in the host machine. So we need to change the pull strategy to not to pull the image from Docker Hub. So I'm giving never pull, and we need to update the container settings. Here we need to update the network for the container to agent network 2 because that should be on the same network as Docker Din. Here we need to get the volumes from Docker Din container because this client container will use the client certificates from Docker Din container. So here we need to specify in the form of container name and read only or read write. Here we need to mention the container of Docker Din, and this is for read only. So similar to Jenkins Master container, we need to declare some of the environment variables corresponding to this Docker Din container. Let us copy these environment variables, and we need to update in the agent template. We have added the environment variables here, and these are necessary to connect the Docker agent container with the Docker Din container so that Docker commands can be executed within the agent container. So these are the minimum settings we need to add here. We can change other settings as well, but in this demo we are not changing any other setting. So let us save this configuration. Now we have updated the agent template in the cloud configuration with the custom image and also the client details corresponding to Docker Din container. So now let us try to execute the job again. Let us trigger the build. So now a new agent container is created. Let us verify that container. Here we can see a container is created with the newly prepared custom image, and the Docker build is running. The Docker build failed again. Let us check the console output. So here it is saying the input device is not a TTY. Let us change the command. So I will remove this terminal part. So let us save this configuration and execute the build again. Now again new content is created. Let us verify the output now. Now we can see the command is getting executed and it has pulled the Ubuntu image and it is executing the command. So let us verify the same here. Here we can see a new content is created. So since it will sleep for 60 seconds, we have to wait for 1 minute. After 1 minute, if we check again, now we can see the content is terminated and we can see the job is successful. This means we are able to run the Docker commands inside the Dynamic Agent container. So in this video, we have seen how to set up the Jenkins Dynamic Agent in Docker container. As part of this, we have seen how to set up the Jenkins cloud configuration and also how to configure the Jenkins agent template as part of the cloud configuration. And then we have seen how to prepare the custom image to have Docker client inside And then we have seen how to set up the Jenkins agent using custom image, and also we have verified with successful execution of non-Docker commands as well as the Docker commands within the agent container. I hope this video helps. Thanks a lot for watching.